social media is one of the biggest parts of our lives as Gen Z and basically anyone who's alive in this current society. If you're not on social media, I don't know what you're doing with your life. But with that accessibility comes some of the biggest issues that we can have as human beings, because social media has turned us into bots. It's created this bot culture that I absolutely despise. For example, right now we're in a society where nobody can get a job, apparently, but social media role in that is to make people feel comfortable with not getting a job. I was someone that graduated and wanted to get a job. Now, everywhere I went on TikTok, on Instagram, on YouTube Shorts, on YouTube itself, they're all telling me, oh, the job market is fucked. That means you're not going to be able to get a job, blah, blah, blah. And all that does is made me comfortable sitting with the fact that I don't have a job because everybody else don't have a job. So this is why the bulk culture of social media is so problematic. If you are fat, for example, and you have a whole community of people on the internet saying that being fat is okay, you are gonna stay fat. Same thing with people being lazy and not going to the gym. This is what I mean when I talk about the comfort and mediocrity that is promoted by social media. Another issue here is the way social media impacts our relationships as Gen Z. When we use things like Instagram and TikTok, when we go online, we have access to everybody else's perspective about how a relationship should go, about how a relationship shouldn't go. And with that comes the harms of putting all their issues and their own certain view of relationships on our own certain views of relationship, making us the same as them. So if somebody went through a unfortunate situation, for example, get cheated on, blah, 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 they share their story, and now you are using that as your only measure of what a relationship can be. Because a lot of people that use these apps are young and haven't been in those situations before. Our natural inclination as human beings is to learn from the people that are around us. What gets promoted by social media is usually the negative stuff. So you have a lot of young men learning about how bad women are. You create the red pill movement. You get a lot of young women learning about how bad men are. You lead to the extreme feminist movement. This is what is promoted by the internet and what keeps people engaged in these freaking apps. If YouTube don't have controversies, if YouTube don't promote the divisiveness of politics, you won't have people sitting on there watching their favorite political YouTuber who's so one-sided all the fucking time. This is such a big problem with developing a society that promotes individual thinking, individual mindset. The fact that we have all these informations available to us and don't have someone out there to teach us how to use them is so fucking dangerous. Now, this all leads to the lack of interaction and physical interaction that we see or don't see with Gen Z. When we look at the baby boomer generation, or we look at any generation before Gen Z, before the advent of the internet being intertwined with our lives, we see these people going out and actually interacting with each other, going out, meeting people in person, bro. They didn't have Tinder, they didn't have all these things. We have created every means within our power to take away the physical aspect of life, to take away anything that we have to learn to become better people. We've removed that from our lives. You don't have to go out of your way anymore to meet a girl on your campus or something. You don't have to go and stop someone on the street and talk to them. You don't have to learn that skill anymore because you have Tinder. You can do all of that right there. This is the problem with technology, right? I don't want to go off a tangent, but technology is meant to make our lives easy. And when it makes our life easy, we don't get to become better as people. We just rely on technology even more and make these companies a lot more money, bro. Think about it. The fact that we don't have this social skill anymore to start conversations means that, yes, we start our relationship off of Tinder or Instagram or shit like that, but we're stuck there. There's no way we're going to learn to actually start a relationship by seeing a person at a function, talking to them. That's how people have lived life through the history of Earth. That's how it's been. And now people can't do that. That should be scary to y'all. That should be scary to y'all, bro. Now, all this shit has led to these apps, these companies basically stealing our time because we don't want any physical or actual in-person interaction. Our interaction is done online, right? All of these things are created for you to be the customer. You are paying these companies money, these social media companies. You are making them rich and wealthy by actually throwing away your time. They were stealing your time. They were stealing your most important resource. You wake up every morning and you scroll on Instagram and TikTok. That does absolutely nothing from you or for you. If you're making content, yeah, it can help you, right? But if you're not making content on these apps, if you're not using it as a way to make content, you're wasting your time for the most part. And yeah, some time is good wasted. If you're actually enjoying your time on TikTok, go ahead and use TikTok. But you got to keep it in your mind that, okay, I am wasting my time right now. I am just doing nothing with it. You got to be at least aware of it, because I don't think a lot of people are aware of the harm that those apps can have on us. We are not aware that we are literally draining our life energy, bro. I don't want to sound spiritual, but we're giving away the most precious resource that we have to these people's companies for no reason, because we don't want to go out and see people and talk to people. That's just stupid, right? And now you compound this with the advent of AI, where you don't even have to go out of your way and just ask people for questions. You have AI to answer your questions. That takes away the need to just be people. We can't create communities anymore. You add that to the fact that people don't go to church anymore. Their religion is losing ground in the world. Nobody has a community. Everyone is stuck by themselves. Relationships are ruined. People aren't getting into relationships anymore. It's all solo dolo nowadays, bro. We are all in this weird state of society where you're just alone, right? This is why people are having mental health issues. As human beings, we need communities to function properly. We need people to learn from. And the online communities, yeah, they can be helpful, but they're not a replacement for that most pivotal part, that physical community that we don't have here. The internet would never replace that, and we want to pretend that it will, but it will not, bro. Like, I just made a video about YouTube being a soulless thing now, right? This one is just talking about another thing that I think is very important to me. I think AI is going to be a huge problem here too. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments if this resonates at all. Without further ado, peace out. Bye bye. Ooh, boy.